since you're talking about the universe, can you explain how the universe works as far as a larger system that you are a part of? And
the atom is essentially the smallest. That's a good question, because I was going to say thing. The smallest thing we can see through a microscope, but we could probably see stuff smaller. It has one nuclei and 2 electrons, and it's basically the building blocks of life. Well, actually, DNA are the building blocks of life. And then the universe, of course, is a combination of all of the galaxies that we have in our universe. So we'll throw it around to the Mod Squad just because you wanted us to do that. The smallest and the largest thing that we can identify, correct?
Yes, indeed, and somewhat. Your second explanation is perfect. Where somewhat of an explanation of how you understand it works.
All right, let's do that. Violet, would you like to give us the smallest and the largest thing you feel comfortable? You would feel comfortable talking about and what they are.
I guess
you could pass.
I mean,
no
when he originally posed the question, he said organisms, smallest organism and largest organism. So I was thinking like microbacteria, but the electrons and protons and tiny elements that physicists are discovering now, I think, are the smallest things that I have layman's knowledge of. And then I guess I'd have to, the largest thing being the universe itself. Now, I'm a little unclear on how knowing those things would help me find my place in the universe.
So I guess the specific question that I had was, how does this apply to what we are and what we are aware of? Oh, so sorry, I think I wrote down, what is it? Cats don't know about the Wi-Fi, and laptops don't know they're connecting wirelessly. As like a philosophical idea of like awareness of what's actually happening. So that's what Sean kind of like started this. So now that you understand what you explained, what do you think your place is, and what do you think you may or may not be aware of? In the same way that like cats don't know their Wi-Fi, but clearly Wi-Fi affects their environment. Laptops aren't aware of the fact that they don't have to connect hardwired LAN, but you know, same thing.
I believe so. I mean,
ignorant of?
I think there's a great deal of things we're ignorant of, forces that we haven't been able to measure yet with science or haven't experienced yet. But I honestly don't think I can answer where I think humankind falls in the order of the universe based on this question. I mean, I think we have our part in the ecosystem of the world we live on. You know, we work within the system of other biological organisms to help all of us stay alive. And I mean, trying to balance things is not going so well. I think humans are taking more than they're giving, and that's causing problems in our ecosystems. But beyond that, I think I'll land with that. That would be my answer.
And what we will do, God, we will come back to you. You can propose this question for the rest of the Mod Squad, and we can go to other Mod Squatter question. But I want to move on to Joanna. Joanna, good morning. Welcome back to the show. Pleasure to see you. What would you like to talk about?
Thank you. God, you started out by talking about Dr. Joe Dispenza. How did that fit in? It was sort of very cryptic.
You mean you want to ask me a question about a prior speaker?
Yes, the prior speaker.
Please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Ask me a question. That's fine.
The prior speaker started out this very cryptic statement or question or comment. I don't know really where it was going, but about Dr. Joe. I happen to know Dr. Joe, and I'm a very big fan of his. Where did that fit into your question?
I got a better idea. Rather than asking the prior speaker a question, why don't you tell us about your listening experience with Dr. Joe? What do you think of Dr. Joe? Like, don't like, stuff like that. Tell us about Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe claims that he was in the accident and he was paralyzed, and that he fixed his spine on his own. It's
Do
not
you
easy.
believe him?
No.
There you go. Go ahead.
No, I just didn't know what he started out with Dr. Joe, so my ears perked up, but then it sort of veered off into a couple of different directions and all due respect.
Joanna, anytime your ears perk up, I know it's going to be a good day.
Yeah. So thank you, Rob.
Talk more about Dr. Joe.
Well, after that, Dr. Joe paired up with Greg Braden, and they're on Gaia. You can't not like them in a way, because it seems that they're trying to help us, like Violet said, of our place in this earth, in this biodome, in this universe, and they've done some good work. I just was so inspired by the prior speaker throwing Dr. Joe into the mix, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we would love to. We would like. Hello. No, go ahead and go on mute, please. Firstly, Joanna, are you finished for now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go on mute. Little housekeeping for those that are here for the first time, and a reminder for those that are coming back again. And we appreciate your contributions. We generally discourage crosstalk between the nieces and nephews. Occasionally we'll allow it, but we normally find that when the nieces and nephews talk about a prior speaker, it avoids a lot of future problems if they just refer to them as a prior speaker and don't talk directly with them. The nieces and nephews and you guys in the audience, you're more than welcome to talk to me, mention my name. In fact, I prefer if you spend all day on Clubhouse and talk about Uncle Steve, or you can address the mods, no problem. But that's the way this show is designed. That is our recipe for success. There are hundreds of other Clubhouse rooms where you guys can talk to each other or whatever. And it's no disrespect. We have just found that this is our recipe for success. And God, we will come back to you in the next hour, and it'll be soon.
Uncle Steve, can I just say, by the way, God, that question was one of the most intelligent and insightful things I've heard said.
I think it's a great question.
On a stage in a while. I thought that was really, really good. I think, kudos to you, God. I appreciate you.
Can I hear the question? Because I was not available at the time.
The question, sure. The question was, what is the smallest thing that you can think of and the largest thing you can think of that you feel comfortable explaining? And when it's appropriate, you can have a fresh five or different.
And he used a great analogy, Uncle Steve, about like how a cat doesn't understand Wi-Fi or a laptop it's connected to the internet but doesn't understand. I mean, I thought that was just really. I mean, I didn't respond because I was thinking about the question a lot, but I thought it was just incredibly insightful.
I suspect you'll ask it again, but let's move on. In my queue is Howard and John. If you're in the audience, feel free to come.
One of the great moderators, Uncle Steve, of the Critical Thinking Forum, my colleague.
Howard, welcome back to the show, because in all sincerity, the show is better with you than without you. Let's give you a standing ovation.
No.
Yeah. Well, if you want, I can wah you. Oh shit! Here's Howard again. Okay, let's give Miss Ringside. Go ahead.
It sounds like I'm at home. And
there you go,
Scott, Violet. Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts and other people's thoughts on what came up yesterday about the peace plan between Ukraine and Russia. I know it was in the news bit that you just had. And I'm more curious about any thoughts on this is actually potentially going to be a test politically for our current president. You've had some very staunch supporters in the House of Representatives from the very beginning supporting Ukraine, that being McCall, Patrick, Turner, the other names escaping me. On the Senate side, certainly it's been Lindsey Graham. It's actually has been Chuck Schumer. It's been, Mr. Lame Duck now, Mitch McConnell. But to me, it's going to be very interesting, perhaps even beginning tomorrow morning with the Sunday programs, if any of those supporters make an appearance. But now of what they publicly say, their level of support for essentially Trump's and Putin's peace plan here. And I thought it was very, what would you say, authentic and very serious, the video that Zelensky made for his nation, and basically saying we're at such a crossroads and this is going to be a most difficult decision. And I'm just wondering in the bigger scheme, because I do have a view that I believe the tipping point has now passed for Trump, and as each day goes forward, whatever the issues are on his desk, it's going to get more and more difficult for him. And as each day goes on, he's at one day closer to being a lame duck himself. And so I think his effectiveness is beginning to wane. And I'm just wondering if this moment becomes another threshold, if you will, a crucible moment for him politically, if it turns out that he doesn't have the full congressional support that maybe he would have had 90 days ago about this peace plan between Ukraine and Russia. So it's just a question. I know there's not an exact answer, but I'd be interested in other viewpoints on that.
Sure, I'll give you mine first, and then we'll go to the mod squad. And John, don't go away because we'll get to you after this. Trump's popularity is waning. His popularity is going down. So that's according to the polls, if you believe the polls. I do also think this is a tipping point because whenever Trump has given ultimatums in the past and then he's backed off on them, and if he backs off on, and notice he didn't say or else, if he backs off on this ultimatum, I think it's going to hurt his popularity even more. I'm actually more concerned about what's going on in South America. I believe that our warships are still there. Allegedly fighting the trade. I don't think it's terrorism, but quite frankly, our warships, our soldiers, going into South America and the Caribbean. I'm more concerned about that. But let's go to Lynn. Lynn, do you have any thoughts on this issue, or are you good about what Steve brought up? I'm sorry, Howard brought up. What Howard brought up. Okay, let's go to Alfonso. Alfonso, any thoughts about what Howard brought up? Okay, JCC, any thoughts?
Sorry, I didn't.
That's okay.
I didn't hear what he said.
Trump giving the ultimatum for the Russia-Ukraine war and his waning popularity. Any thoughts? Is this a turning point in his presidency?
He's not going to consider anything he promises, especially if it's about Putin. Seems to have turned. There's a PP tape.
Okay, very good. Anybody else on the mod squad would like to comment to what Howard said and or asked?
Yeah, Uncle Steve. I mean, Howard.
Yes.
Howard knows some of my thoughts on this because he's heard me opine, all too often in thinking for him. But yeah, I am really perplexed about this because I think one of two things has to be true here. Either there's an operative, just pragmatic pacifism with regard to Europe and Russia. Trump. We've seen Trump kind of campaigning for a Nobel Peace Prize, and for some reason he's taken on this mantle as peacemaker. I've stopped like 8 wars, working on 11 wars. I guess so many wars. Okay, if I could go back in time, World War II. Okay, so fantastic. All right, shit. He could have stopped Pearl Harbor and all this stuff. So if that's the case, and there's just a sort of pragmatic pacifism with regard to do it.
I worked for the Globe for my work study, and I thought that was like the coolest thing ever.
That is cool.
WBD, the television station, Channel 5. So yeah.
I got
So we're in the same thing.
Yeah, we gotta connect.
Oh, nice.
Connect, compare.
Yeah.
I went to Chicago to work for the Jay Jones show, and here's the cool thing: we were right across the hall from Larry.
Yeah, he probably on Twitter, huh?
Yeah. He's lame as fuck. Touchdowns.
That's my husband now.
Xavier. That's your husband. It's fine. We can be married to lame people. Patrick Mahomes.
he has corporate clients. He does.
But I did want to talk about the geopolitics. I just got off with talking about it. I am a big Trump doctrine supporter. I think he's the best geopolitical leader in my lifetime. I believe that strongly. All the way down to the Abraham Accords with Whitcomb and Kushner, setting up what we see today with Gaza. There's like unanimity for peace in that region. Now, I know the big talk these days is about Ukraine. I've always thought, listen, the NATO allowed Russia to take Georgia, Crimea, the Donbass. And so it is my belief, right? And Neville Chamberlain was mentioned, right? In a sense of appeasement. Well, I don't think it's appeasement whatsoever if there's a peace deal, because right now it's such a stalemate, like the Korean DMZ back in the 50s, such that there's no movement. You can't even get a kilometer without losing thousands of lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that in the name of peace, in the name of saving lives, you just kind of give Russia a lot of territory in the eastern part of Ukraine and Crimea, and then you beef up. NATO's already been beefed up thanks to, guess who? President Trump.
About our warships in South America. Yes, I am interested. Please.
And what I'd like to say about that is such that, according to the UN, drug trafficking in and of itself is not terrorism. However, when you have a leader, a political leader, trafficking drugs for the detriment of the United States, that is terrorism according to the United Nations. And so I believe that's what's going on, that Maduro is leading this situation to cause havoc for the United States. And if it's the case that the United States acts.
In hour number 2, we have a mandatory break for those of you in the audience that want it.
A riddle of shadows where whispers lie. The thorny thigh, the maddening cry. Open, open. I am awake, the serpent shakes. Doest thou wilt, as a God can. Eagle strikes with its jagged claw. The beasts emerge as the gods withdraw. A storm of silence, a broken love. I am born to death, reborn on the hunt. I am Shadows whisper truth as the baseline drum. No path is written, no soul is blamed. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Feel the stars, let the silence fill your will. All is waste, it's alive, it's still. Shattered glass where the circuits glow. The clock ticks slow, but it doesn't show. No purpose, no tether, just a beating sync. Every way perfect, on the edge, on the brink. No chains, no bars, just a void to fill. Every pulse, every spark is the perfect will. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Feel the surge, let the silence fill your will. The flame is alive, it's still. Delivered from the lust of the thrill. In the endless dark where the echoes play. No other shall say nay, no other shall stay. Through the wire, through the smoke, let it all decay. The will remains forever in the fray. No fire burn like passion world. No losing through like hatred burn. This body aches, a cage of stone. Rest whispers soft, the only throne. Hunger's the beast, the sharpest sting. Body cries, its constant claim. But to truly see, waits, it sets us free. Pain walks close, a shadowed friend. Each step we take, it will attend. But joy lies quiet, just out of view. A higher peak, a sky so blue. Feel the weight, feel it break. Every ache, every quake. Hunger's the beast, the sharpest sting. Body cries, its constant claim. But to truly see, waits, it sets us free. No flame is fierce, no chain is tight. This body's war, this endless fight. But higher still, beyond the fray, rest calls my name, and I let us live, let us breathe, free as air. No hate, no No chains, no despair. Among the shadows, we shine so bright. We carry peace into the night. Happily there, we'll rise again. No hatred, no pain, no bitter. Happily let us walk, let us heal, free from strife. No ailments clean, no weight on life. Among the weary, we'll stand tall. A gentle voice for one and all. Happily there, rise again. No hatred, no pain, no bitter. Happily there, red light among the broken. We'll rise again. No hatred, no pain, no bitter end. Happily then, let the light begin. Among the broken, we'll